Hello everybody, how y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. So I thought I'd pop up here and dish out some more info that has come in. So, because I had the video appointment with my primary, today's Thursday, so Tuesday, yeah, it's still 2 days ago. So anywho, yeah, I thought I'd pop up here and let you all know what we discussed and so forth. And I'm going to back up a minute to Monday. After I got done recording and posting that video, which was the last video that I did, the one just before this one, so you can go back and review it in case you're interested. I After I got done recording and uploading that video, ran a quick errand, and as I was coming back home, I got I had a thought go through my head. I don't know if you call it a message from spirit, very possible. And when I got home, I Googled it, and sure enough, I was like, wow. I know now you're wondering, well, what was it that popped through your head? I was wondering if how accurate that COVID test is, the one that tests to see if you've ever been exposed to COVID antibodies or not. So I posed the question. I'm trying to remember how I asked it. Can you have had COVID in the past even if you test negative for the COVID antibodies? Something like that. And it came back yes. And I was like, okay. So there's a couple of reasons why you may test, even if you have had COVID and you tested positive for COVID, and but your COVID antibody test comes back negative, okay? Which is basically what happened with me, only I, of course, never have had a COVID test. But still, it still can apply to me. There's two criteria that can come back with a negative result. One is if you recently had COVID and you got the COVID antibody test too soon. You know, like say for instance, you had COVID, you just got over it, you turn right around like within a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, something like that, and have a test done, it will most likely come back negative. Weird, I know. Don't ask. You would think that with such a recent exposure, it would be the opposite, but no, it's actually the opposite side. Like, whatever. So that's one reason. Also, another reason why you may test negative is your body may, especially since this is such a new disease, and even so much that our bodies can't even produce don't know what it is, basically. Our bodies aren't producing enough antibodies to fight it. And so because of it, over time, especially after, this many years is what it's been for me, they dissipate. They die off and they're gone. So that's what I had found out. So then I'm like, okay, that's good to know. That's something else to discuss with the doctor the next day. So that's what I did. I talked to him. I asked him the question, and he agreed. Yes, that is the case. So because of it, and I'm getting the sneaky suspicion that he's thinking the same thing, is he didn't actually come out and say it, but he's thinking the same thing as me, that we're dealing with long COVID. Okay, what he's doing is he's sending me a referral over to their integrative medicine department, and they have other ways of being able to test to see if it's long COVID or not. Okay, basically the integrative medicine department is just like it says, but it combines. I was going to use the word integrates, but it's like no. Basically, what it does is it combines modern medicine with like herbal sort of medicines, okay, which is good for somebody like me because I am very, very sensitive to even over-the-counter stuff, makes me, like horribly drowsy or other side effects and so forth. My body has just gotten so sensitive to being able to, even a lot of herbal things have adverse reactions to me. So, but I have better results, better experiences with herbal than what I do with anything that is basically man-made, okay, chemical or what have you. So that's one of the reasons why he's referring me over to them, so we can know, okay, what sort of things are available, doses, so on and so forth, okay. Um, and also they can make determinations as to whether we're dealing with long COVID or not. I did discuss with him about the possibility of long RSV, and he was in agreement that it would be a good idea to get an RSV antibody test done. The only issue with that one is that one has to be outsourced because they have part of the test there, but they don't have the full test, basically. So they have to outsource that one. So it will be a while before we get any results back from that. It's like, okay. I also talked to him about fibromyalgia, and he said that things have changed. It isn't necessarily a thing anymore where they, test you for everything else, and then this is what we're left with. There is actual testing that they can do now to determine if you have fibromyalgia or not. So we'll be exploring that at some point, possibly. And also, I talked to him about stiff person syndrome, and he has ordered that test as well. So, the two blood tests, the RSV and the stiff person syndrome, well, he did ask, why I might think that and I told him, basically because of, the check boxes, and he was asking, like what symptoms, and I explained to him, the fact that, it does affect the torso, same as me, it gets affected by storms. What am I dealing with all the time? Especially with the cramping, and so forth. And and I explained to him, it's been a few months since I've seen those symptoms, so I'm trying to rack my brain or what have you. But basically, ultimately, he agreed, and it's like, it doesn't hurt anything. At least we're able to rule out, and it's peace of mind, So, and I'm like, yeah, I realize it's 1 in a million that 1 in a million people that get it or what have you, but who knows, And I told him I am open to the idea that possibly I had some other sort of really nasty bug that we're not aware of or whatever, and I became a type 1 diabetic at the same time. So because I got sicker, and I mean, it's not very likely because everybody in my family who has had type 1 got it early on in life, as far as I know anyway. I know my mom did. I believe my one uncle did. I believe both of my uncles did. So, yeah, and no, my mom's gene would probably be the strongest and I know she got it in her early to mid 20s. I know I was 4 at the time, so I think she was like 24 or something like that. 23, 24, something like that when she got it. And I know she was pre-diabetic when she was pregnant with me. So, yeah. Then for me to get it at 48, and I know both of my uncles were diabetics when I was young. And they were both type 1s, and we're talking on my father's side. So it's very strange that I would get it at 48. Yeah, so by rights, I should have gotten it early on in life, because it is a bit unusual. Just to explain for those who don't know, it's a bit unusual for a person to get type 1 late in life like this. Usually, if you're going to get type 1, it happens before no later than the age of 30. So, yeah, a bit unusual. And usually, like my first endocrinologist had explained to me, it's usually because the reason why you may get it late in life is because it got triggered by something. And what happened, and I was sick 3 years ago this month at this time, and then 4 months later, I'm diagnosed type 1 diabetic. That's a little too coincidental as far as I'm concerned, especially when he made that statement. So, yeah, I'm diagnosed, but I know I went full blown a month before that. I never really quite got over whatever it was that I had, which I'm going to say was COVID, the Omicron variant, and I just kept going down. I never really quite got over it, and I just kept going down, 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 further and further, until the point that basically those last 3 weeks before I went to the hospital finally, I was just plummeting in weight, and I was seriously dehydrated, and I just couldn't retain any fluids at all whatsoever. So basically you could say that 3 months later I went full-blown diabetic. Just I wasn't diagnosed until I finally went to the hospital to find out, hey, what's going on. And I will admit, I was shocked when they came back and told me, they ran blood work, and then they came back, got more blood to do more work, and then they came back and told me I had a 600 sugar. I knew exactly what that meant, and I didn't even have to have a blood test to know if I was type 1 or type 2. Basically, they run a test to see if you're type 1. They test to see if you test positive for a GAD antibody called GAD65. That's the one that lets them know that you have type 1, because it's that one that for whatever reason the body starts thinking that your pancreas is an enemy, is an invader, and starts attacking it. And that's what basically kills the pancreas, and then pancreas can't produce any more insulin. And then, hello, type 1. So, and that test has to be done by an endocrinologist, and it's typically done outside the hospital. So, at least in this day and age, anyway. So, and that was another thing that I had brought up to my primary with my my case with with basically building my case with the primary physician, with being tested for stiff person syndrome. It's like, okay, I've already tested. One of the issues that can wind up arising with stiff person is becoming a diabetic, especially type 1, because with the body producing, with stiff person syndrome, the reason why it happens is, for whatever reason, the body starts producing a whole bunch of different GAD antibodies to turn in on itself. And one of them is the GAD65. And so obviously I've tested positive for that. Who's to say, who knows if I'm testing positive for other GADs as well. So that's another reason I've been kind of curious to see if by chance, but I personally don't think so, but then again, who knows, it's always better to be safe than sorry. That's the way I look at it. So anyway, so the blood work for RSV and stiff person syndrome, that's going to be drawn Monday morning, when it was already scheduled early Monday afternoon for the cardiopulmonary test, and also, oh, that's right, that's at 12:15, so I'm not going to have to stand around waiting for too terribly long, fortunately. I was thinking that the cardiopulmonary test was at 1 o'clock, and then it just dawned on me, no, because I have to do the cardiopulmonary test and then run right afterwards to upstairs to the pulmonary lab for the testing they have to do afterwards. So, and then right after that, I have CT done on my sinuses. So it's like, okay. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a long day on Monday, and I of course have to be down there early in the morning because the first blood work is drawn at 8:10 and the second at 8:20. They'll just do it all at the same time. It has to be actually scheduled. So yeah, basically that'll be done then. So I have to leave here real early in the morning. So I will not be working Sunday night. And depending on how I feel, because that cardiopulmonary test is pretty intense. It's basically either a treadmill or bicycle, and they push you real hard, they said. So it's going to be kind of like what happened with me on Monday. That test, that pulmonary function test, really kicked my ass. Partly because of the blowing, and I was blowing and so forth real hard to prove that I don't have asthma, and which I'll get to here in a minute. You're gonna love this. But yeah, so it really inflamed my muscles in here pretty good. Thank goodness I had that arnica tea and my cacao powder and all my stuff for muscle inflammation. Thank goodness. And then, of course, that methacholine and then the inhaler. Oh, gosh. Yep, I woke up next morning, Charlie horse in my leg. My legs were dragging, felt like lead. The whole ball of wax that I went through before when they were trying to get me on those inhalers a year ago. And it was like, nope. Thank goodness I'm not gonna have to go down that road. I wouldn't anyway. And basically that's what I told the pulmonologist when I saw him last Friday. I'm like, I will not do those inhalers. And we talked Monday, we talked quite a bit about it and everything, but still yet I wound up with just that one dose, and I wound up with tons of issues. So that's all it takes. So it's like, okay. And of course I had my bananas, and I've also been hitting oranges. I've been wanting oranges, and those have a little bit of potassium in them too. So, and of course vitamin C. I've got the oranges primarily because my allergies been flaring up ever since we got that storm in on Friday. And I'm like, well, let's get some vitamin C going. And I was really wanting some oranges. So, anywho, all right. So, moving on with all that. Also, he just wants to double check to make sure. Well, he had asked me if I've ever had a stress test, and I said yes. I had one done a couple of years ago. Everything was fine. And I seen the pictures myself too, so I didn't see anything that was going on. So I felt secure with the doctor's report, especially with the hospital that I was at, as I know it's a good hospital. It's one of the best ones in Vegas. Vegas has a lot of bad ones, unfortunately. But yeah, as far as that hospital is concerned, yeah, that I feel very secure in the doctor's report from there. But I told him, everything was fine, which I already knew was going to be, because I could tell nothing's going on with my heart, and I know heart disease. I know what that looks like, and I'm like, no, I don't have heart disease. So it's like, okay. But he just wants to double check to make sure, and he has ordered a CT of my aorta just to be sure. So I think he said the aorta capillaries or what have you. So we're just double checking to make sure. Especially before we move on to like the integrative medicine and so forth. So there was that, and then he also, before discussing all of that, he basically brought up the report that the pulmonologist had sent to him, saying that he doesn't believe there's anything wrong with my lungs. And I was like, yay. And then I got a text message yesterday, actually, from the pulmonologist saying that the asthma test came back negative. Yay! And of course, he mentioned the COVID test too, which I already knew about or what have you. But as far as the asthma test is concerned, I'm like, you know what? I should screenshot this text message and just save it. It's like, yes. Finally, I get. I'm still getting that nasty taste, that chemical taste in my mouth from the methacholine. It's either methacholine or the inhaler or both. It's like, blah. Every once in a while, I get it, that taste in my mouth, and I just got it, and it's like, blah. Ugh, nasty. It's going to take a while to get that shit out of my system. Yeah, I've been coughing up stuff, too. Ugh, nasty. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I can finally, because especially that last pulmonologist that I was seeing out there in Vegas, he was insisting I had asthma, and then even the guy here, the primary that had seen that one time, he was insisting, oh no, you have asthma, and it's like, sorry, here it is. Negative. And I never went through any this sort of test. I never went through that at all over the last year and a half. I've never been through it. So it's like, yep. And definitely nothing with any breathing in any sort of chemicals or anything like that. And then to me making that sort of a diagnosis, nope. So, yep, I know. It just, yeah, kind of kills you, doesn't it? So, it just felt so good to get that, excuse me, to get that stigma wiped clear off of my chart. Everybody, really, over the last couple of years, I've been getting it constantly. Have inhalers. Everybody trying to throw inhalers at me with, thinking either coming right out and saying asthma or saying pre-asthma or just insinuating that I have asthma. And it's like, no, I don't, people. And now I've proven it. It only took, 2-3 years, basically. But, yeah. Very happy. You want to say hi? There she is. There's Miss America. Yep, there she is. The beautiful girl. The love of my life. Yeah. She's like, Mommy. So, anyway, that's where we are at right now with everything. Also, I got a call back from the allergy department. See, I'm stuck on asthma. It's myself even. Got a call back from the allergy department. They had, there at Mayo, they had scheduled me an appointment initially for, I believe it was February 12th. With that, I was able to be put on the wait list for anything that comes in sooner, which happened. So I will be starting to see them December 30th. I'm still on board with that. I figured, let's go in and talk to them and see. From what I can see from basically the list of ingredients of what actually goes into those shots. It's basically just the environmental allergens themselves, the pollens basically, exposing you to that, and just things, like glycerin, things like that. Nothing chemical involved. So about the only side effect that I might get is possibly breathing difficulties or breaking out in hives. Benadryl, which I have. But yeah, in that circumstance, quite possibly, what do you call it? The Benadryl shots, because it's a lot faster acting, basically adrenaline. So we'll see. Especially since I can't do any sort of like inhalers or anything like that, I figure, I can discuss all of that with the allergist at that time. So that's in 2 weeks, along with, to me there was something else. Oh yeah, that's right. I'll be having the CT done of my aorta, at that time. So yeah, the next couple of weeks are going to be a little bit busy, and then he wants to schedule a follow-up also for mid-January, which I haven't seen that yet. And then the January 20th is an initial appointment with speech therapist, learning about different things that I might be able to do to help rebuild what has happened here in my throat, especially now, I've had multiple times now, after having that test done on Monday, where my throat closed up, basically like this. It's basically like I had this little bitty air hole, if I was lucky, to try and breathe through. So, of course, that upset everything that has already happened in there, and I'm still dealing with that. So, talk to a speech therapist and see if they can provide any sort of assistance or what have you. Otherwise, I might have to be referred over to an ear, nose, and throat specialist. We'll see. With helping to rebuild, especially the larynx. So, I should have asked him about. I didn't think about it. I was more concerned about all the other stuff. So, but anyway. The other thing is the car situation. Just to diverge, just ever so slightly. Just trying to keep the timeline straight in my head. Car situation got straightened around yesterday. I busted my ass like you would not believe. Pushed myself. I did work Monday night. A couple hours. That's all I could handle. I was falling asleep everywhere. Falling asleep at traffic lights. I had a shopping request to do, and I was falling asleep while walking around the store. Between that and then everything that was going on with my throat, and it was just really, really irritated. And I'm like, oh gosh, I just want to sit down and eat a whole tub of ice cream or something. I didn't even want to eat regular food, and that was another issue I was having too. It's a lot of nausea, horrible nausea. I've been having that ever since that test as well, some bad nausea. So, I'm like, okay. So anyway, after, I went into Hertz, I explained to him, what happened a couple weeks ago. I had actually come in. I was told it should just automatically renew. It didn't happen. They didn't even tap my account or anything. And he's like, yeah, that's weird. So, he just pushed it through. And I'm like, well, you have this past, I had to explain to him I didn't have time to come in, and then one day I wasn't doing well, so with my health situations, and so yeah, it's been, and then I had the rigorous testing and this and that and everything, and the important doctor's appointment, all this sort of stuff and everything, and he's like, sounds like you've been through a lot over the last week. I'm like, I have, But I pushed myself, and I was able to get to, I had last week's, and I was able to get this week's. So you have everything that you need to keep this going. He's like, okay. So he pushed through the payments. Everything was fine. And so we're back on track. And he's like, next week it should be cleared up. I got it cleared up. I'm like, okay, let's hope. But right afterwards, that happened yesterday, and I'd only had maybe a couple hours sleep if I was lucky. Just wanted to get over there and get the car taken care of as quickly as possible. And I had no food to eat in the house either, and I need to get her some food as well, as you can see. Yep. That's why she's my little princess, love of my life. Little baby here. You can see. Oh, mommy. I'm just rubbing her tummy, and just to be able to curl up in mommy's arm. Oh, mommy. That's just enough of a joy for her. She's such a baby. I know she is, and she's my baby, and she knows she is. But anyway, so it reminds me. God. Anyway, I just remembered a dream I had where I don't know, there's this guy. I don't know who it was, and he was also there, and she just walked right up to him and was perfectly fine, no anxiety or anything. Like, okay, interesting. I had some weird dreams last night anyway, so that's what I'm taking it as. We have a major storm coming, so that's why I know. I know where they're stemming from. So, anywho, yeah, afterwards, I'm like, I'm going to run to Whole Foods because they weren't that far. They're only like about 10 to 15 minutes away, something like that. So, depending on traffic. So, yeah, I ran over there and have been dying for a bowl of my cereal, and I can't find that cereal anywhere else. So, I'm like, okay, grabbed some cereal, and I grabbed some chicken. I was going to make my chicken like how I usually do it with this one rub that I do. I haven't had it in quite a while, and I was going to do that, and then some green beans. Just bake them in the oven, the chicken and the green beans. But when I went over to get some green beans, I seen that they had some organic corn on the cob, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. And I just took it and threw it in a pot of water, and then fried up the chicken. And oh, that was so good. And while I was there, the reason why I'm bringing this up, the trip to Whole Foods, is because I was still, well, after I got done with work the other night, I did stop off at gas station and got myself a small thing of ice cream. And I thought I would just eat a little bit of it, and I wound up eating the whole thing because it just felt so good in my throat. It was like, oh. So that wound up being my dinner that night. I know, not very good for with being a diabetic, but oh well. It really did hit the spot. I gotta tell you. So anyway, and yeah, I got some more, only dairy-free at Walmart the next day. It has been helping my throat to feel a lot better. And I know I do have this throat soothe tea. I'm drinking a ton of teas right now. I'm doing arnica and what else? I don't know. But anyway, still keeping up with the arnica tea. But anyway, while I was there at Whole Foods, I'm like, I'm going to grab a box of my old echinacea tea that I used to drink all the time. So I went ahead and grabbed that. I don't know, for some reason I was really wanting it. I'm like, okay, so as soon as I got home yesterday, I made myself a cup, no sugar. I'm cutting out sugar right now as far as, like in my teas are concerned. I'm trying to cut back on as many inflammatories as I possibly can right now. Try and help with all this situation. I'm like, something's got to give here. So anyway, I went ahead and grabbed a box of that, brewed myself a cup, didn't add any sugar, just drank it straight, and it's a pretty good size cup. It's like about a cup and a half by the time everything is said and done. It's big, kind of a big mug that I used for that one. I have two different size mugs, and that one is kind of like about a cup and a half, something like that, or at least a cup and a quarter. But anywho, drank it down, and right after I got done drinking it, I just started coughing up all sorts of crud that has been sitting in there festering in my mostly right here in my throat. I coughed all that up, and it's like, all right, yep, here we are. It's still irritated, but not as bad, so I'll keep that going, just in case you might want to try it. This one that I typically use is from Yogi. It can be kind of hard to find in regular grocery stores sometimes. Walmart, if you shop at a bigger Walmart than what I have been at here, they may have it. Otherwise, just kind of shop around that particular brand, Yogi Echinacea Tea. If you want to, you can try the one from Traditional Medicinals. I have been with the Throat Soothe. The Throat Soothe one that I have been buying through Traditional Medicinals has echinacea in it, but the main reason why I like the one from Yogi is it also has some other ingredients that helps with phlegm, especially black pepper. So, like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. If I'm gonna be getting a different one instead of adding black pepper, but it also has like cinnamon, and there's some other things in there that I also know that helps with the throat. So, including the elderberry. So you're getting everything all at the same time without having to add, anything in. And drank that down, and oh, it felt so good. Of course, as if I was basically kind of heaving it up. And not just coughing it up, but I was heaving it up at the same time. It wound up irritating my muscles in here a little bit. It was just like, oh shit. Understanding that a little bit more now, definitely. So yeah, it's a lot with that phlegm, that congestion that I just keep building up inside. Don't know why. Part of it could be environmental allergens. I don't know. We'd have to see. But another reason why I don't mind trying the allergy shots, well, for one thing, just doing stuff over the counter either isn't working or I am having adverse side effects. Or, like for instance, I can do Benadryl, but it makes me horribly drowsy. I've tried the one that begins with an A, the purple box, and I have other nasty side effects. Nausea being one of the big ones, lightheadedness, dizzy spells, all this sort of stuff. And really, to tell you the truth, because it's not really affecting my sinuses, it's like I was trying to explain to the pulmonologist. It's like everything just keeps forming here. He's like, oh no, it's actually forming in your sinuses and then draining down. I'm like, no, it's not. It's forming here, and then it's bouncing up into my sinuses if it's not allowed to sit in here. He wasn't understanding. He wasn't believing that. I was like, okay, dude, go ahead and do your asthma test, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about here. I know my body very, very well. I've always been in tune with my body. I've had to be my whole life with being born a hypoglycemic. So, and and that's the nice thing too. Now that I've proven that I'm not an asthmatic, now we're starting to listen. The doctors are starting to listen, more or less. We'll see with anybody else that winds up in my life. So we'll see. But one of the reasons why I get back on track here a little bit, the reason why I don't mind pursuing or at least trying the allergy shots is I have read with long COVID, it helps to keep down with histamines in your body as much as you possibly can to try and help with things. So, I know my nose is a little funky today. Understandable with the storm coming in. Seems to be when we're getting these storms in from the north, from Canada, I'm flaring up. There's something that direction. What is this one? It's kind of, again, coming in Canada and North Dakota and coming down. And it just seems to be irritating my sinus, my sinus passages. There's just something, especially when there's these winds that are kicking up. So it's like, it's probably, I just thought of it when I had the allergy test done, it's probably that one that was on this arm that was really, really bad. Whatever one that one was. It's probably that one that's flaring me up. Which I forgot to ask about. I'll have to try and remember that in a couple weeks when I see the allergist. Which one was the worst one as far as the Midwest arm is concerned? And go from there. And then find out, of course, the Western ones. Because I can't find that result anywhere on my patient portal, those results. So, anywho. I could probably just text them and then ask. Go from there. If they can send me that list, I'll see about doing that, and hopefully they can send me that list. So, anywho, that's where we're at. I know these videos are getting kind of a little bit longer, but there's a lot of information that's coming out now that we're making headway. But as far as I'm concerned, with getting that negative asthma test result. As far as I'm concerned, now we can start with a blank slate and see what's going on. I feel like we're starting with a blank sheet of paper now. So it feels good. It feels so good to finally get that off of the table and be able to finally move forward with everything. So it feels really, really good. As you can see, I'm just glowing. It's like, finally, yay! So, I do plan on getting back to work tonight. What I plan on doing is working the next 3 nights, get together all the money that I need for Christmas, and also the money that I'm going to be needing for the drive to go down there and back, and also gas money to be able to go back to work here, and also, so I don't know if I'll be able to work Monday night or not. That's supposed to be a pretty intense test, so we'll see. And definitely we'll have to work Tuesday night, but I'd like to be able to get all the money together for next week's car payment at that point. So, or at least as close as possible, because I know I'm going to need to be getting, I only got her a couple cans of food, and she only eats half of a can, but she's going to need it by Monday anyway. So I'd much rather get her food as much as possible, and also the other thing, that we just talked about. She's right here, so, we can't, and she understands what I'm saying. So, she's kind of busy right now cleaning herself, but, eavesdropping. That, and then there's some other things I have to get taken care of as well, so, got a lot to do, a lot to take care of between now and Monday. Sunday, I don't plan on working unless maybe it's just a few hours. That's about it. Because I have to be up real early, of course, Monday morning to do the drive down there. And Sunday, I do have my, Sunday is the winter solstice, and that's typically when I do my Wheel of the Year reading as well. So, and that takes time. So, if anything, everything works out good in that respect. Things have been going really great, really, really great here lately. It's like, this has just been really awesome with everything. So, and I've been pushing myself with work as much as I possibly can. So, it can be tough, but I'm doing it. That's what matters. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at with everything. And then, like I said, Monday night, I'll see how I am. I might go out maybe for a couple hours or something. I should be home a little bit early. I think the CT, the sinus CT, I think that's at 3 something. I don't remember. I have to double check. I can check in early and see if they can get me in early. I know it's right after the pulmonology testing. That much I do know. I don't remember the time for the CT for the sinuses. But yeah, like I said, I'll see how I feel after everything is said and done. Because who knows if they push me, if I'm pushed too much with that cardiopulmonary test, I might not even be able to make it back home. I might have to stay the night down there even. So we'll see. And then definitely we'll have to work on Tuesday night. And of course, nothing's hardly going to be open Christmas Eve. So there's no point in me even trying to go out to do anything, to be perfectly honest. So I'll be taking off Wednesday and Thursday as well. Might as well. It's like, I would like to be able to take Christmas off this year. Spend time with my baby. And who knows, maybe I might even be able to afford some of those Christmas videos I lost. Be able to watch some of those. We'll see. But anywho, that's where we're at. Alright. Lots of updates, I know. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all later. Love you guys.